Oh yeah, we got time for that. I don't think Drake started sound checking yet. I think they're about to start doing
Yeah,
that.
I
didn't miss Soundcheck?
No, you didn't miss Soundcheck.
You know Soundcheck is special.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
I know.
You get to sit on
It's a cool
Soundcheck,
kids
you
club,
feel
right?
so
I know.
VIP. I'm like, man, I love it. So.
Yeah, sometimes like we all take it for granted. We're like, oh, another song check. Like, you know, we actually do listen to it, and we're like, this is cool. Like, not you know everyone that's coming to the show, like they don't get to experience that. Yeah, you can buy those VIP meet and greets where you get like one or two acoustic songs, but like something about Soundcheck where like they're
It's not the same.
it's not the
I
same.
love it, man. I love it. You just get to see it. You get to see a side of relationship sometimes.
Yeah.
Because
for better or worse.
The world doesn't always know, right, Adam? They don't always know. Like,
I know.
all that
That's
stuff.
right. They don't always get to hear Justin and my drummer argue the way they do.
Yeah, right. It's what makes you great. But let's
Yeah.
be honest, it's a family. So
100%. Yep. And we get along a lot better than a lot of guys I've played with before. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because speaking of Justin, we actually had him on one of our shows about 3 years ago when he was with Louis Bryce.
That's right.
And then I remember he shot me a text like 2 months ago when he's like put the two and two together, and I was like, whoa.
I know. I'm glad this worked out.
I was because
Yeah.
one of my I guess lead off question is, what's it like working with a promoter more than once compared to like working with different promoters day in day out. It's probably easier working with the same one every now and then because what
because
kind
you
of
build
shit
the
you're getting.
relationship. Yeah.
yeah.
That's huge to me, man. I mean, it's because all these like this whole tour has been all brand new markets, with the exception of like next weekend. Like it'll be Birmingham, Mobile, and Baton Rouge. But still, though, like we've never played this place in Baton Rouge. We've never played this place in Mobile either. So
Wow,
I mean,
even in Alabama, huh?
I mean, yeah, Birmingham's the only place that we played with Drake. So everywhere's a new market. So it's all new relationships. So.
Yeah, because aren't you and Drake both from the Alabama area?
Yeah, he went to school at Auburn, and that's my hometown.
War Eagle.
Yeah, War Eagle. Thanks, buddy.
War Eagle.
I'm glad to hear that. I live in Tuscaloosa, so I don't get to hear anybody else say that. So
Hey, I respect it. No, but thanks for taking the time, before you got to go do Soundcheck.
Yeah.
For meeting with us, just wanted to chat, like, what's a day like for you when you're on the road? Like, are you on the bus all day? Are you writing? You exploring the towns?
kind of a little bit of all that. So it's funny, we had this kind of laughing joke that like you get more rest at work than you do at home, you know what I mean? So because at home there's kids and got to get to school and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So I sleep in a little bit, which is nice. And then I just kind of get up and it is when you're in situations like this, like where you're kind of in a downtown area, you kind of want to walk around and see what's going on.
See some history, right?
Yeah, you kind of get to meet folks there and see who's coming to the show and just kind of, I feel like that's the best way to absorb yourself a little bit,
Yeah.
And you sometimes get to try some local coffee.
Yeah.
Shout out Sips Coffee for letting us host it here today.
Yeah, Sips Coffee. It was good. I enjoyed it. I had an almond latte already. It was so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so highbrow like that. Only almond
You a
milk.
caffeine guy, Adam? I'm a caffeine guy.
I am a caffeine
at least
guy.
a Joe, caffeine Joe kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. Yeah, me too.
I love coffee, man. I don't know how I couldn't wake up without it. And so, do you mind if we dive into some questions about some of the work you do? Because
Sure.
we love that you're a songwriter.
Thank you.
We love the way that people grind and they publish. And then Tyler and I both had some questions because when I listen to your music, and even when I listen to Drake's, there's so much soul, there's Leslie organ, there's high harmony, there's all these amazing, which I feel are timeless elements in music.
Correct.
But we're like, how do you decide when you're churning out a song, you're on the bus, hey, listen to this one, guys. How do you decide which one is going to be Adam Hood's song?
That's a good question. A lot of it, I feel like that, and I'm going to try to say this without being egotistical, but
No, please do. No.
I feel like there's the stuff that I write, it kind of it is a little more thought provoking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
And it all comes from kind of the stuff that's genuinely tuned to what I do is a lot more introspective stuff. The more personal I get, the more the more directed towards me the song is going to be.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's more of a broad stroke, then it can cover more ground.
Yeah.
And you know, that kind
I
of
get
lends
it.
itself to a female artist or somebody that's not really, like we're talking about, you know, I mean, where I write on the bluesy or soulful side of country music,
Yes.
you can take certain things and in the same way you can incorporate them, you can also take them out. And so,
Oh, that's
you know what I
genius,
mean? So it kind of, you know, those songs, and it's not dumbing it down. You know, you hear a lot of songwriters use the word, well, let's dumb it down. And I don't think I don't think simplifying anything is dumbing anything down. I think simplifying it is harder than it looks, to be honest with you. You know. And so it takes a lot of work to kind of say, okay, you can add this instrumentation into it, or you can take it out, and it's still the same quality of song. You know. So I think that the ones that are more intentional like that, with instrumentation, with lyric, those are the ones that I'll kind of keep for myself.
And they speak to you early in the process?
I think so. Yeah, I think it kind of you know, everything is based on feel. And so, you know, if this feels like an Adam Hood song, this feels like a Miranda Lambert song, this feels like a Drake White song. And that's the good thing about Drake. He's one of those guys that just because we grew up so close together and you know, kind of, you know, drank the same water, if you will, my stuff and his stuff are pretty similar, you know.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. It's not, as a writer, it's nice to have artists like that you can kind of attach yourself to. That's how you make a living.
Yeah, there's some camaraderie there, though, right?
100%.
Artistry camaraderie. I love that. Yeah.
Now, after you decide, this is like an Adam Hood song, or this isn't an Adam Hood song. The songs that aren't yours, like this you're writing doesn't feel like yours. How do you determine who they're going to?
Typically, you sort of start male or female, and then there's like with Miranda, let's say, there's keys that she lives in. There's tempo she lives in.
Yeah.
And so I try to sort of, and if this song is in a key that she's not normally in, I'll try to find another artist that kind of. I mean, there's a lot of ladies from Texas. Sunny Sweeney is a friend of mine. I mean, there's just, and Ella Langley she's not from Texas, but she's, same thing, Alabama native, and just somebody that, she kind of has a little bit of a wheelhouse that I know if I wrote a song that was in that wheelhouse, I could send it to her and go, hey,
that's cool.
I think this is kind of what you do. Yeah.
You had that personal relationship where kind of there's not four people between you and the artist,
right?
Because you churn out great music.
And to be honest with you, like that's kind of how songs get written these days, or how songs get recorded these days.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that things don't happen in pitch meetings anymore, but like it really songs are cut due to the relationship of the artist and the writer. Which is, again, just depends on how you work the establishment. I mean, if you're a writer that has depended on things to get cut in pitch meetings, you're gonna have to work outside the box a little bit. And I think it's all as writers, I think everybody's kind of going through that. Just there's just been kind of a total infrastructure change, which is fine. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a fun challenge.
Yeah.
I bet. And being on the road with Drake for the tour, are you guys riding together or?
Some, probably not as much as we should be, but we are riding together. I think we've got two. We've got one done and two that are kind of still rolling around.
Okay. And then I see you have a new single coming out May 3rd.
Yes, thank you.
Can we get a little insight on that?
The song's called Stage Lights, and I wrote it a long time ago with a guy named Ben Danaher. And Ben's a buddy of mine, and we've written a lot of great songs together. And I mean, this, it's one of those songs about being on the road.
Yeah. I love those songs, though.
But at the same time, it's I feel like that it's an accurate picture from someone who's kind of at this place I am in my life, and understanding the blessing that it really is to be able to be on stage.
I love that you said that.
Because there's difficult aspects. We always kind of make the joke that I mean, travel is what you get paid for. You really don't get, nobody pays you for the 30 to 90 minutes that you're on stage. That's muscle memory,
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, everything
funny.
else, you're kind of working for it. So.
Yeah. And do you still feel that vibe from the crowd? And does it still like stir you up? Like when you see people lipping your music, or when you see people just genuinely in life having a good time because of what you're doing, does this still mean a lot to you, Adam?
If that gets old, you need to get out of the way. I mean, if I ever get to a day where I get tired of seeing that, that's it. I know I'm done.
That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
Now, what does it feel like when you're going on stage and there's people just staring at you? What's going through your mind? Like, they're here to see you and perform, and they're happy, all the smiles on their faces and everything. Like, what's going through your mind during that?
There's never been a time when I haven't been nervous. I mean, it's just nerves have always been it's always been there for me, and I kind of I'll text my wife and go, man, I'm nervous, and everybody's like, you're silly, but the nervous energy is kind of it helps, and so. But I have to tell myself, because there's also a part of me that you walk on stage and everybody's staring at you and you want to go, what are y'all looking at? You know what I mean? Wait a minute,
Yeah,
what's wrong with me? And it's like, oh wait, they're supposed to be doing this. So I had to kind of tell myself that, I had to say, okay, you have this opportunity. If I believe in my music enough to where I drag my butt up wherever it is I'm dragging my butt to play for people, then, believe in it enough to where when you have their attention, take it.
Yeah, a little self-talk right before you walk.
100%.
3 chords deep.
Yeah.
The problems are gone.
There you go. Right, exactly. Right after the downbeat, man.
Yeah,
We're
right
good.
after the downbeat.
And then, you mentioned, you texting your wife and you're nervous. Does she ever get to come on the road with you when you're on tour?
Yeah, our kids are small, and so school is kind of a variable. But yeah, I mean, it's about to be summer, and so they'll be traveling a lot more with me. But we pick our times. Like next weekend we'll be in Birmingham, and so of course we live in Tuscaloosa, so we're 55 miles from Birmingham. So she'll be at that show, and ones that are close, we try to bring the kids to. We were in when we were in Chattanooga with this tour. Brittany and the girls came up. They had a cheerleading competition in Atlanta that night, that day. So they did the cheer thing, and then drove up and met us. So.
That's awesome. But I know you got Soundcheck to go get to.
Yes, sir.
So just a few more questions.
Sure, of course.
What's the rest of the summer looking like? After this, and then Birmingham next weekend.
So this tour ends, I think May 5th. So we'll be in the Detroit, Grand Rapids area for the last run. Well, next week will be Birmingham, Mobile, Baton Rouge, and then that'll be the last week of the tour after that. I spent a lot of time in Texas. I'll go back to Texas. I've got the end of the month. I'm opening for Miranda Lambert, New Braunfels, and then have a festival there. Then we're doing some dates with the Red Clay Strays in June, which is good. Yeah, it's same thing. Guys from Alabama, I've known them for a long time.
Yep.
They're a rocket ship now, and so, which is pretty cool. And then we got some dates with Blackberry Smoke in July coming up.
Wow.
Yeah, those guys played on my Bad Days Better record. So when that was kind of my COVID record, and so when we went we went to Capricorn Studios, Brent Cobb produced that record, and because nobody was working, Charlie and all those guys live in the Atlanta area, and we were like, hey, do y'all want to come play on a record? And they're like, yeah. So
Bring the Les Paul Jr., Charlie.
I know, exactly. Yep. That's what he brought. Yep.
Oh,
Les Paul Jr. and an Esquire. And that was about all he played. Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. The only question I have at the end is that there is a song, and I when I was doing some Adam Hood research, you've got a very vulnerable presence where you're just you and a guitar early as 2012. Like there's so much stuff of you out there. And then there was a song, Play Something We Know.
Yeah.
So, but what I loved about that song was, because I love Mo Damn Crickets is by far I hope we hear some Mo Damn. I don't
it's
know
the second song in the set, so that's awesome.
Okay. But so anyway, the other song, you referenced a lot of Southern rock icons and outlaw style country. And I just want to know, what's on your playlist as you go from city to city? When you guys are just sitting back in the van, and I know artists don't like to listen to themselves a lot.
Right.
What are you listening to, Adam?
I mean, well, recently, due to, losing Dickie Betts, I've listened to a lot of Allman Brothers recently. And, Dickie was kind of the cowboy of the band. He was the one that, even though it was a blues, jazz, fusion kind of thing, think he was still he had songwriter songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Ramblin' Man is a
songwriter
songwriter
songs.
song. Blue Sky to me is a songwriter song. You know, and so like,
Wow.
he was the reason that he was the guy that drew me closer to the Allman Brothers when I may have
Awesome.
kind of veered off when the instrumentation got complicated. You know, because you either play like Dwayne or you don't, and bad slide is the worst. You know what I mean? Like if you play slide,
Just slide on out of here, buddy.
yeah, that's right. Put that, slide yourself to somewhere else and put your slide down. Yeah, so,
yeah, I love it.
But
man.
yeah, and so I've been listening to a lot of Allman Brothers. I mean, I kind of go back to the same old wells, man. I mean, I still listen to Delbert McClinton. I still listen to John Hyatt. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of, man, you know, I mean, there's guys like Marcus King out there, and he's so
Marcus
good.
King,
and,
right.
and, you know, and my buddies make good music. Drake's music is great. Brent Cobb makes great
Yeah.
music. Jason Eady's a good buddy of mine. I kind of draw from my friends too. Iron sharpens iron, really.
Yeah,
you
what
know?
a great network.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
why
I'm lucky.
country music's so nice because it's like a big family network. You know, friends supporting friends.
Yeah.
You know, getting a room for pitch meetings or jam sessions. And you never know what's going to come about it. That's
I know
why
it.
you know you see all these artists jumping into that country. You know, like Post Malone's jumping into it. Nelly. You know, there's probably others, but it's just like everyone's trying to be in that. You know,
This welcome to the family attitude.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And it is a family, I think.
It's a receptive family too. That's what I think.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like all walks are welcome. You
Yeah.
know, and I don't know
Wow.
that it's that way in many genres.
It's not. No, you're right, man. I'm saying you're so generous with your time. We
Of
really
course, man.
appreciate
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Well,
coming
thanks
in.
for the questions. They're good questions.
Yeah.
I enjoy talking about this
Hey,
stuff,
absolutely.
man.
So, you know, one last send off.
Yeah.
You know, let's say, you know, a few people haven't seen you ever perform live.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing you want them to take away from your performance later?
I think the fact that like we really try our best to make our performance, the songs we choose, as genuine as possible. So if you see us once, you've seen what we do. We do it different every time.
Yeah,
However,
absolutely.
Yeah.
but you know, I mean, like I said, I just want to always be as transparent a human being as I possibly can with all my music. You know.
That's funny. Real musicians ain't never played the same thing twice.
I know, right?
Thanks so much, Adam.
Thank
You've been,
y'all,
It's
man.
been the
Appreciate
Hometown
it.
Jams podcast, right?
Yes. Welcome back. Hometown Jams After Hours.
Yeah, it's
I
been a
am
minute.
Tyler, and this is.
This is Jay, and we were with Mr.
Adam Hood.
in Live and Sip Coffee House, and that's why that barista sound was going off. So
Come get
enjoy
some,
it.
come
Yeah,
get some
it's a
sick
great
coffee,
place.
guys.
Thanks for your time,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Thank y'all.